Hi there, Malcolm here with my 60th Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you my April TBR pile. I know I did 18 books last month, but that's just taking the biscuit. First up is my book of the month, Doctor Who and the Cricket Men by James Goss. This is based on the original screenplay by Douglas Adams, which never got filmed, and so he cannibalised part of it for a book in his Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy series, Life, the Universe and Everything. However, it was a Doctor Who story first, and James Goss has made it into a Doctor Who story to read. Although written by James Goss, so far it does read a lot like Douglas Adams with his humour in it. This one features the fourth Doctor, that's played by Tom Baker, and his companion, the Time Lady Romana. I'm not going to try and pronounce the whole name, I bet you all can.
Romana Melinda.
Bless you. And he even writes it out several times.
It's one that you hear.
The ashes are stolen during a game of cricket by the Cricket Men. This is bad news all round. And so the Doctor takes his companion back to Gallifrey and some stuff's going to happen. I've read 70 odd pages so far, absolutely loving it, really funny, with a lot of hallmarks to Life, the Universe and Everything in it. So looking forward to getting through this one. And once I finish reading that, I'll then move on to my main reading pile, starting with 4 Goosebumps stories, including Chicken Chicken, Don't Go to Sleep, The Blob That Ate Everyone, and from Goosebumps 2000, Bride of the Living Dummy, all by R.L. Stine. Pretty simple horror stories, sometimes with some good ideas in them. I've not been totally impressed with the series so far, but there's been some nuggets in there. But I can read a story in less than a day, so I'll plough through those quite quickly. And once I have done so, I can then move on to Orbitsville by Bob Shaw. I'd unknowingly bought book 2 in a charity shop, started it and thought, no, I'm not understanding this. Looked up online, it's book 2. I'll order book 1, that looks like a nice cover. It turned up in the post with this dull yellow colour instead, which is a bit of a disappointment, but I got it for the story. I've read quite a bit of Bob Shaw lately and really enjoyed everything I've read, so looking forward to this one. No idea what it's about though, possibly something in orbit, maybe. And once I've read that, I'll then move on to this tiny little book by Raymond E. Feist, Magician. This is the very first book of the Rift War series. I hadn't read much in the way of fantasy, I'm more of a sci-fi type of guy, but we got given the whole set of these, and I thought, well, they're just sitting there, I might as well try them. So, going to give good old fantasy a good old try. And provided that I do get through this monster, or if I give up, then I'll move on to another tiny book, Intervention by Julian May. This is a reread, and from one of my most favourite book series of all time, something that HBO should have a serious look at now that they've finished Game of Thrones. It started off with the 4-part saga of the Exiles, and now it's turned into a kind of family saga chronicling the birth of human psychics. It follows 3 or 4 families, and it's about humanity coming together and reaching the point where the watching alien civilization then can feel like they're ready to step in and welcome humanity into their club. Brilliant stuff, loads of great ideas in here. I'm already about a third of the way through it. So reasonably confident I'll finish this one before the end of the month, depending how I get on with Magician. And if I do finish it, then I will move on to my library book, which this month will be The Medusa Chronicles by Stephen Baxter and Alistair Reynolds. And this is apparently inspired by Arthur C. Clarke's story, A Meeting with Medusa. I've no idea what it's about, but it's spacey-wacy, so I'm happy. So that's my main reading pile. While boiling the kettle, I'm still reading The Walking Dead Rise of the Governor by Robert Kirkman and Jay Bonanzinga. And this follows the governor before he's in charge of Woodbury, as he's bumming about with his brother and daughter, who's still alive at this point, just trying to survive, like everyone else. I should point out that this is the governor from the graphic novel series, not the TV series. I only point this out because he's just met up with the Chamberlain family, which doesn't happen in the TV series until after the first failed attack against the prison, and in a very different context. Really enjoying it. I wasn't expecting much out of it, but a lot better than I thought. I am ploughing on through the Dark Times collection. I'm on to Blue Harvest now. I've read the first 3 already, so I'm halfway through. And this one focuses back on the Jedi Das Jenner as he's still trying to find his way in the universe. And once I finish this, I'll then get back onto the online library catalogue and further this series, because this is all I've got of it. And I'll probably try and find the Runaways book 2 and the Aliens, Predator, Prometheus, Aliens vs Predator, Life and Death series, which I read book 3 of and don't know what happened in it. I also read to other members of the family. To my youngest, I'm still reading The Edge Chronicles, Beyond the Deep Wood by Paul Stewart and illustrated by Chris Riddle. Another zany, crazy place. This one's a lot more gruesome and hard-hitting than the Muddle Earth series, which I previously read my youngest son, but he's still loving it. There's some great characters in here. It's more of a journey and a series of things that happen to this kid who discovers he's not who he thought he was, but good fun. I should finish it within the next week or so. To my older son, I am about halfway through reading A Whale Adventure by Willard Price, where the brothers Hal and Roger are now bumming about on a whaling ship, where they get down and dirty finding out what whaling is really all about. This one pulls no punches, not for the squeamish or the faint-hearted, and certainly in today's save the whale type psyche that we have, some people might struggle stomaching this one. Very much written of its time, and very much written about a time that is lost. For the better, perhaps. Particularly for the whales, anyway. But very informative, and there's a pretty good story in here too. And when there's not enough time to read two individual stories of an evening, I'm reading them both. The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett. This is a Discworld story featuring Tiffany Aching, who's a young girl at this point and is going to grow up to be a witch. Strange things are happening, and she's stepping up to try and stop them, but clearly is in need of a bit of help from these tiny people, Nat McFeagle, and maybe some training from some older witches. Really funny stuff. I read this evening. The boys are rolling around on the floor to the Feagle's antics. To my wife, I'm still reading this bad boy, The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding, book one of the Darkwater Legacy. Less than 50 pages ago, so that really seriously will get finished this month, I promise. And pretty quickly too, I imagine. Good old-fashioned fantasy, but told for a modern audience. And when we do finish this, we'll move on to an equally light Sci-Fi, Book 8 of The Expanse, Tiamat's Wrath by James S.A. Corey. If you don't know anything about The Expanse, go check it out on Amazon Prime. They've got seasons 1 to 3 on there. Fantastic stuff. If you haven't got Amazon Prime, tough, go read the books. They're even better. Full of political intrigue, full of fighting, full of zombies, full of space, full of other things. Basic chronicles, mankind's reach for the stars, and really enjoyable. Some fantastic characters in this. Looking forward to it. Been waiting a long time for it. There we go. I'm not going to finish all of those, particularly The Expanse, which will just get going on. I hope to get through as much as I can. Come back next month and find out how I did. If you have a TBR list you'd like to share, then please leave a link or a list in the comment section down below. I'll go check it out. Did I show you a book today that stood out and you thought that you'd like to read? Let me know in the comment section down below. But as always, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Until next time, see you later.